Today we're going to talk about what it means when an ex tells you that he isn't ready for a relationship and what you can do about that situation. Now, what's interesting about this particular situation is that the language that your ex uses can be disguised as many different words. It's not you, it's me. Please stay away from me. I'm not ready for a relationship. They all have the same sentiment. Stay away from me. I don't want you. So what's going on in a man's head when he says this to you? Does he mean it, or is it just something that he's saying to get you off of his back? That's what this video is going to explore. But first, if you haven't already, make sure you stop by my website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, to take my Ex Recovery Chances quiz. It's a simple 2-minute quiz designed to tell you what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back. If that's something that you really want to know, taking the quiz is really easy. Just look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on it. It is literally that simple. All right, now let's get to it. So when an ex tells you that he isn't ready for a relationship, does he mean it? Well, I actually am a huge fan of that movie, Hitch. Basically, the movie follows Will Smith, the actor who is essentially teaching men how to get women. But he only works with specific men who really fall in love with these women, but just don't really know how to bridge that gap. Now, what's interesting is the movie starts with this really interesting pattern interrupt. Literally, the first line in the movie is, "No woman wakes up saying, 'God, I hope I don't get swept off my feet today.'" Back when I was in high school and couldn't get a girl to save my life, I would often look online for advice. What do I say? What do I do? And oftentimes the advice would suck. But one thing always stuck with me. It was called the Brad Pitt test. Essentially, it was if a woman says that she's not into you or doesn't want to be with you or isn't ready for a relationship, give her the Brad Pitt test. Essentially, throw Brad Pitt in front of her and in your exact circumstance and basically ask her out on a date. Does she say yes? If she says yes, then clearly it's something to do with you. Now, I often like to give men the Megan Fox test. Now, I may be dating myself here when I talk about Megan Fox, but back in high school, my friends and I were all in love with her. We thought she was the epitome of attraction when it came to a woman. So the test I often give to women who are trying to figure out if a man really means what he says when he's not ready for a relationship is put Megan Fox in front of him. Does he go out on a date with her? Does he enter into a relationship with her? If he says yes, then you pretty much have your answer. It's something that he really doesn't mean when he says he's not ready to get into a relationship with you. Now, what's really interesting is that I had a client once when I told this Megan Fox story to actually tested it out on her ex. She literally went to her best friend, who was the best looking girl that she could think of, and paid her friend, even though her friend was like, "What the heck is this?" Literally paid her friend to go up to her ex and hit on him. Again, this was the best looking girl that she knew, and she was trying to test to see if her ex would flirt back or ask her out on a date. Well, when he did, she was obviously very upset with the results, but she kind of got her answer. It was something that he really didn't mean when he said that he wasn't ready for a relationship. Honestly, that was a little crazy, and well, it was just pretty crazy. But here's the thing we're trying to get to the bottom of. What can you do if you know you're dealing with an ex who says, "I'm not ready for a relationship"? What can you do to get them to recommit to you? Well, the first thing I think you need to do is have a paradigm shift with how you're looking at relationships or how men make commitment decisions. See, a lot of women like to think there's a Disney prince out there for him. You know, it's Prince Charming or the knight in shining armor. But oftentimes reality doesn't work that way. Men tend to make commitment decisions based on self-interest. Is this going to be the best thing for me? Remember, we're all self-interested, but your ex is especially self-interested if he's saying, "I'm not ready for a relationship right now," and dates someone else. So digging down deeper, if you understand that your ex is self-interested and you're still trying to figure out, well, how do I get him to commit to me or want to commit to me? What can I do? Well, there are actually 4 things that I would recommend that you start doing right away. Tip number 1, ensure that every interaction you have with your ex is extremely satisfying. Now, I've been on record for a long time explaining the differences between good emotions and bad emotions and how human beings tend to be obsessed or even addicted to feeling good. The other day, I was actually driving down the road and drove past a Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A is notorious for their great service, but also I was thinking about it. It was packed there. I mean, packed beyond belief. They actually had people with iPads going and taking the orders for the people waiting in line. Well, why is everyone sitting there waiting to get chicken or fried chicken or one of those awesome triple thick milkshakes? It's not because it's good for you. It's not gonna make you look better. It's going to make you feel better. Eating there is satisfying for most people, so we're addicted to that feeling. Well, your ex needs to have the same feeling anytime he converses or engages with you in any type of conversation in any different way. When was the last time that you can honestly say that your ex was satisfied after exiting a conversation with you? If you can't really think of it, you've got a problem. Tip number 2, ensure that you are the best alternative. A man who breaks up with you is essentially saying, I can find someone better than you. I can find a better alternative. So how can you flip that on its head? Well, oftentimes men have a bit of what I like to call the grass is greener syndrome after exiting a relationship. Towards the end of the relationship, they may be looking over the fence saying, you know what, there's greener pastures out there. I maybe can do better than what I have right here. So they break up with you and go exploring into those greener pastures. Here's the thing. Oftentimes, especially the longer the relationship, it's not as easy to get into the flow of things as they start looking for those greener pastures. They start meeting new people, but nothing just seems to compare to you. You can actually further develop this type of situation if you do things away from your ex to highlight the great parts of your relationship. Highlight the aspects of you that he fell in love with. Maybe he really loved your eyes. Well, maybe you take pictures on social media highlighting how beautiful your eyes are. Maybe he loved the fact that you were so spontaneous and adventurous. Well, maybe you actually do some spontaneous and adventurous things with your friends where he's not included. You can do so many things to ensure that you are the best alternative. You want him to go out there and think, you know what, this isn't as easy as I thought it would be. That's when he's more likely to turn around and think, man, I actually had it pretty good with her. Tip number 3, make him invest a lot. When I first started this concept of investment, most women took it to mean monetary investment. How can I get him to pay for dates? But we're talking about something much deeper than that here. We're talking not just only money, but also time, conversation, emotional feelings. The more you can get him to invest all of those things into a relationship with you, even if it's a friend relationship, the better spot you're going to be in. Now, here's the interesting thing we found. The more invested he becomes into a relationship, the least likely he is to exit that relationship. So that actually means you need to do some thinking about why he left you in the first place. What was he spending most of his time doing? He should be spending most of his time talking to you or doing things with you or thinking about you. If he isn't doing those things, then maybe you have a good answer on why he broke up with you in the first place. Now, here's the other interesting thing. If you make him super satisfied, if you ensure that you're the very best alternative, and you ensure that he's investing most of his time and he's still not committing, well, tip 4 comes into play. Tip number 4, fear of loss. So here's the thing. I often talk about this concept of, look, if you want to make someone commit to you, there's 3 things you need to do. Make them satisfied, make sure that you're the very best alternative that there is, or there's no better alternatives than you, and monopolize his time and get him to invest a lot into the relationship. But making someone want to commit to you isn't the same as making them commit to you. If you want to make someone commit to you, well, you can't really make them do anything at all, but you can incentivize them to commit to you by using fear of loss. Now, here's the issue. When I explain the fear of loss concept to most women, they think, oh, cool, I'll give him an ultimatum. If you don't commit to me by this date, we're done. I will never commit to you. That's not really what I'm talking about. What you need to do is you need to establish those first 3 tips first. You need to establish satisfaction, alternatives, and investment. Once you have done so, that's where you start sprinkling in the fear of loss. Now, you don't sprinkle in the fear of loss by giving ultimatums. Instead, what you do is find ways for other men to want to basically take you out of the dating pool. If he sees that, he won't only grow a little jealous, he'll grow a little worried and more likely to commit. Hey, as always, thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you take our X Recovery Chances quiz. It's a simple 2-minute quiz designed to tell you what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back. I feel like a broken record, but I'm gonna say it one more time. If you want to take the quiz, look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on it. It really is that simple. And if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to our videos and our channel. Every little bit helps. I'll see you guys next time.